What is going on, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another TDU SC video, and obviously today I'm going all in because out of the two islands I've narrowed it down to, it has to be one of them, and I'm pretty certain I've actually gotten to the conclusion. I'll let you guys decide that down in the comments section below. But first I want to give a huge shout out to one of the TD2 devs who actually helped me coming to this solution, and I'll let you guys know later on in the video all of the things he told me as well. Now I'm going to break this video down into a couple of sections. First I'm going to tell you what an island actually needs to be selected for TDU with the help of obviously a TD2 developer, and then I'm going to do a couple of debunks regarding that criteria. Then I'm going to debunk Corsica, then I'm going to give you some Canary Island hints, then I'll tell you why it isn't Majorca or Mallorca, depending on however you want to say it, and then I'm going to tell you why it'll be Tenerife or why it'll be Gran Canaria. And of course at the end of the video I'll tell you guys which is my most likely choice out of the two islands. But let's get straight into this video. Alright guys, so what an island needs. Now obviously again, huge shout out to the T2 dev who gave me a lot of information regarding this and also why Corsica could be debunked and some other stuff. But here is what an island actually needs. Now we've actually already gotten a hint on the island location, that being a vast and vibrant real world location that is also new. So it isn't going to be Ibiza and it isn't going to be Oahu, and we already know it's going to be one island as well. Now of course without an airport, an island isn't really suitable for TDU. Now the next thing is the road network. Now obviously the island has to have a good road network and good road infrastructure, because you don't really want to make all the island's roads yourself. You'd want to be able to use a lot of it to make it authentic and pretty much like a real world replica. Now of course highways, tunnels, stuff like that are very important on how and why you'd pick an island to choose. Obviously nice curves and bends on the island, nice views while you're driving is very key as well in my opinion. But the next thing that's very important, in fact the most important, is playability. Now playability is the whole reason as to why you choose an island, because if the island is good but it's not playable, then you wouldn't choose it. It wouldn't make any sense. So some forms of playability would be the size of the island. Why would you choose an island that is so massive with such a huge area that you can't actually explore the whole island? It wouldn't make any sense. For example, the file size would be pretty large if you were to choose an island such as Borneo. That is 700 times larger than the size of Oahu. And here's a comparison for you guys right now. Like I said, it is insane the difference between these two islands. And obviously playability, if you had to unlock a road before you teleport, imagine driving from one side of Borneo to the other. It doesn't make any sense. Now if the island's very easy to develop, that's also key. You don't want to choose an island that's very complex, very hard to actually access or get information from, so you wouldn't want to choose an island of that sort. Of course it also needs a party lifestyle. Ibiza was a party place, and also needs to have a rich lifestyle. Oahu and Ibiza both have rich lifestyles and party lifestyles. It was meant for that. It is essentially what TD2 was aiming for. It took TD1 and the social features of TD2 to try and combine them both, and honestly I still think they did it very well. So TDSC would definitely be something similar, because we have two key people I might add. Now there's Alan Janu, who was the creative director of TD2, now working on TDSC as the game director, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of the features that were in TD2 would obviously make it back. And there's also David Aloza, who was the technical director of TD2, now working on TDSC as a technical director, I'm pretty sure. Now just some quick debunks using this information. Stuff like Borneo, stuff like Malaysia, they're very large, and then playability or the road network is not very easy to develop. So again, you can knock a lot of islands off the list, but I don't want to go into detail with that. You guys know exactly what I'm saying. I'm sure you're following and reading in between the lines. So let's move on to the next section of the video. A huge shout out to the TD2 dev, who obviously is French as well. He did some beautiful work, but he also helped me on debunking Corsica. Now the red deer theory that a lot of you guys have probably been seeing on the internet recently is actually not that accurate, because Corsica isn't known for their deer. They're known for these things, pigs. That's how you say it in English, but in French, it's more of a delicacy, such as dry ham, cheese, stuff like this. This is huge in Corsica, very huge indeed. So it wouldn't make sense that the deer from that would be resemblance of Corsica. So again, it is a deer, and Corsica does have deer, but Corsica is not known for the deer at all. Like, you actually hit your car very often with these things, and they damage your car, you don't do anything. Again, I wouldn't have actually known this without the French dev telling me so. Now another thing, Corsica is very large at over 8,000 kilometers squared. And because of that, developing it as well as making the road network and the playability of traveling an island of over that size is going to be quite hard. And especially when you look at the road network of Corsica, a lot of it is very narrow, a lot of tight places, so you don't really get the real vibe of being able to floor your car, wiggle through traffic. It doesn't really represent it. A lot of the roads would need to be widened, a lot of the road infrastructure would need to be changed. And on top of that, the lifestyle of Corsica doesn't actually match the clubbing, rich lifestyle that a lot of you guys may think. It's known for a more historic area. That's why WRC, for example, is there. A lot of Corsica's places were made for the rally. So for rally, yes. For TDU, most likely not. But now let me give you some Canary Island hints that were in the TDUSC head-to-head trailer. So Canary Island hints, guys. First thing I want to say is huge shout out to the TD2 dev who actually told me this. But believe it or not, one of the islands that were actually thought of for TD2 before Ibiza and before Dubai was actually one of the Canary Islands, that being Gran Canaria. Now, it makes sense that Gran Canaria being on Canary Island would actually make its way back to the thought process for TDUSC, so that is very key. But on the trailer, some poker chips on the table were thrown on a table, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it may be a bit of a stretch, but it does look like Mallorca. Even when you look at this and I fade it in and out for you guys to see what it looks like with and without the poker chips, it's pretty damn close. It may be a coincidence, it may not be a coincidence, but hey, I'm running off it because one of the Canary Islands were actually discussed back in TD2 development. Of course, with two of the prime TD2 devs now working on TDUSC, it would make a lot of sense as to why they would bring this back into the thought process. But now another hint is the Range Rover plates. Now, again, I'm a mathematical engineering guy, so how I got to this is a bit of a stretch, but it's pretty crazy. Hear me out. Now, Guanche is an extinct language of the Canary Islands, and the word Tenerife actually comes from two things: Teni meaning mountain and Ife meaning snow. However, the plate of the Range Rover, here's a very crazy theory. B at the end of the plate is an E, obviously. The number 4 obviously represents F for 4. Now the I, which by the way guys, I don't think these are coordinates. The fonts of the 4 and the font of the plate on the Aston Martin, the 1 wouldn't be a 1. If I'm pretty sure it'd be the one that looks like this or this. So this to me looks like more of an I than a 1 because it doesn't match the same font. And I'm sure you guys are looking at that, it does look kind of weird. So let's take I for that, and at the end you already have Ife, which is the end of Tenerife, Ife for snow. Now if you do the A and the other I, you drop the I and then A. How do you get 10 from A? Now this is how I got 10 from A. Again, you guys can theorize in the comment section below on how you guys can get 10 from A. Maybe it'll make more sense if one of you guys come up with the theory, but here's how I got it. There are two versions of making a character into a number. A can either equal 1 or A can either equal 0. If you take II as Roman numerals, as in 2, and then do A times 2, so you'd have 2 A's, you can say the first line of code for the A is 1, the second line of code for the A is 0. That would be 10. And 10, obviously, 10E, Ife. That is a crazy coincidence. I don't think Kiloton went this deep into doing this, so I'm not that certain. But hey, it is a pretty crazy coincidence. Let me know your thoughts down in the description below. Now another crazy thing is that the architecture of Mediterranean French, which is very easy to access and find in France, is actually very similar to the architecture and building design of the Spanish Mediterranean. I'll show you guys two pictures of the Spanish architecture as well compared to the French architecture. You can see the roofs, you can see the buildings, they are very similar to each other. So it does make me believe that honestly, they could actually choose a Spanish Mediterranean island, especially since it was referenced in TDU too. But now let me debunk Mallorca. So here's Mallorca, guys. Again, Mallorca is a lot larger than Tenerife as well as Gran Canaria, and honestly, if Nakon and KT were trying to aim for an island, they wouldn't choose something that's that large. They would actually scale it back because Gran Canaria and Tenerife, they're both smaller than Majorca, which would make a lot of sense. And on top of that, let's reference the previous trailer because guys, these two trailers are connected. I should add, the same guy that was coming out of his car, you can actually see the Solar Crown cufflink on his suit, and it's the same guy. You can see the cufflink here when he's throwing some stuff on the casino table on his suit right here. And guys, that is a crazy coincidence. So these two trailers are connected, and in the trailer there was a very tall building in the background. Mallorca does not have that. However, guess what two islands do? Tenerife and Gran Canaria. So let's go ahead and let's talk about why it could be either or. Alright, so Tenerife. This island is beautiful. As an airport, the road network and infrastructure is magnificent, especially on the highway space and roads like this all around Tenerife. It cuts all of the check marks. It really does. And even the playability of Tenerife, it knocks off all the check marks. And the thing is, a lot of the areas can be very easily done because a lot of it is just vast desert, a lot of vast land where you can just have an auto-generated populated vegetation across a majority of the island, which is very key to the development of it. And because of the huge elevation changes, it makes a lot of sense as to why they would pick it. And take a look at the city. This building, which I've already mentioned back in my previous videos, it looks very similar to the one in the trailer. It all depends again on what angle you're viewing the building from, but it's very possible. Now, another thing I actually forgot to say is that based on this article in 2016, Tenerife is to promote their animation and video game sector. And basically, a report commissioned by the government of Tenerife has concluded that the infrastructure of supercomputer and rendering and the professionalism of Tenerife is a very good thing to invest in. And the Tenerife Science and Technology Park will put in place a 2D and 3D audio, visual, and animation training program so that the island can offer qualified professionals to meet the requirements of production companies. So Tenerife would be very easy to work with remotely. You'd have a lot of people professionally being able to help Kiloton grab the immersion of Tenerife, grab some photos of Tenerife, send it over, etc, etc. Gotta think ahead. But let's talk Gran Canaria. So like I said, Gran Canaria was an island that was actually discussed for TDU2 development. It'd make a lot of sense that Alan Janu would be like, hey, you know, this island was what we discussed in TDU2, let's bring it here. It would make a lot of sense. However, I couldn't even find anything relating to Gran Canaria in the trailer. But the thing is, they could have hinted at a group of islands. Play could have meant Tenerife, the poker chip stable could have meant Mallorca, but they wouldn't give us a direct answer onto what island it is. However, they could say their group of islands. We got 2 hints to 2 islands. Maybe it could be Gran Canaria. Because the thing is, Gran Canaria's road infrastructure, as much as I love Tenerife and the mountain, the tunnels, the road network, the density, and of course there's this building, which is a singular, more modern looking building on Gran Canaria, and this could actually be the building in the trailer. But again, I'll let you guys decide in the comment section below, but I'm going all in. My idea is that it's one of these 2 islands, Gran Canaria or Tenerife. Oh, and one more thing, guys. Honestly, I'm looking back at the footage right now that I'm editing, and I can't choose between Tenerife and Gran Canaria. I want them both. I honestly can't choose. If I had to choose, I would want to say Tenerife, but now I want to say Gran Canaria. I don't know. Honestly, I don't. But let's get straight back into the video. I'll let you guys comment down in the section below if you want to see me go more in depth about Tenerife or Gran Canaria. I actually have 2 separate videos on it. I'll leave the pop-ups on the screen right now. Actually, I think it should be, it should be this way. You guys should see the 2 pop-ups over here. And again, like I said, nothing is confirmed, but this is just my theory on the trailer. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like down below and subscribe for more TDSC content. You already know what it is. I'm xBigEllx, and I'll see you guys in another video tomorrow. I'm out. Peace.